Hey everybody, welcome back. We're into our third part, taking a look at Berlin 1945 from Strategy and Tactics, the Polish game company. Wanted to go over supply rules in this one. Make sure you read through the supply rules and you understand fully what they are before you start sending people running willy-nilly all over the place. So I was going over the supply rules before I was thinking of doing this video, and I was reading through it, and I noticed that the way supply works, basically, as long as you can trace a path from your unit to your supply edge or supply center, then you're in supply. And as long as you're following a road, you've got no problem whatsoever. You can follow the road as long as you want unlimited movement. The difficulty comes when you start running into enemy zones of control and having to move off-road to try to trace your supply routes, where things start to get, well, confusing. Not confusing, but if you're not paying attention, it's real easy to get yourself in trouble. So basically, the U.S. And their allies basically have 10 movement points of off-road movement that they can conduct to try to trace a supply chain or a supply path to a road that eventually connects to their own side. The Soviets get 8, minor nationalities get 6s. There's a big chart, well, not really a big chart, but there's a chart in the book that describes it all. So as I was reading through, I noticed that it said that supply movement points are considered motorized, as in truck. And I kind of had to slap my face and do a little bit of a, oh, I've been doing supply wrong. Well, initially what I had been doing, if you kind of remember, I had some guards cavalry units. You know, here's remnants of them here. And where's the rest of the guards units? Oh yeah, they're over here. The guards cavalry, which were kind of rampaging through over here. And what I was doing is I was tracing the supply chain back and across the Oder River. And, you know, I figured I had no problem whatsoever until I caught the part where it's motorized. And motorized can only cross the Oder River at bridges. Well, crap. Come to find out that my guards cavalry that I had running down here didn't quite have the supply, so I had to go back and refigure out how many out of supply points they had worked up. And come to find out, it was a lot. One of them had 4, or both of them ended up coming up with 4, or one of them had 4, one of them had 5. So I figured this is a good chance to show exactly how the line of supply works with me trying to get my troops frantically back to someplace where they can resupply. These cavalry units right here, it wasn't too bad. I was able to pull them back across the river. Now, since they're not motorized, they don't have the little motorized symbol on there, they can get back across the Oder River with no problem. The truck supplying them cannot get. It makes sense, I know. I couldn't use this bridge here because, well, that bridge has been destroyed, and it is currently being held by some nasty SS troopers, which I'm trying to knock out, but it's going slow. So I pulled back all the units over here that I thought weren't going to get into any good position to be able to get back into supply. And this other cavalry unit, I kind of banked on being able to open up a line of supply up in this area because there was one guy in there that was kind of messing everything up. So let's go ahead and see if we manage to salvage his butt and keep him from incurring any more supply losses. So basically, since we're starting with him right here, and now remember, on roads, you can trace unlimited. So we'll go here for free, here for free. Now we could go here, but we can't really go here because it's in an enemy zone of control and we don't have one of our own friendly units there. So we get that for free, that for free. It's going to cost us 2 movement points to go into the forest. It's going to cost us another point to cross the stream. So we're up to 3 right now. And the good thing is the off-road movement, if you have a unit there it actually doesn't cost you any movement points. So, and since that's a road, it wouldn't have cost us any in that hex anyways. So we're looking at 3. We'll trace a line of supply to here. Won't cost us anything because it's a road. We'll trace it to here. Won't cost us anything because there's a unit there. Here will be 4. And then, since we built a bridge here at the beginning of the game, it'll cost us 2 points to move over to there because it's into the woods, which is 6, which puts us on a road network and gets us over to the western side of the map, or the eastern side of the map, which is the Soviet supply lines. Okay, we were able to salvage that unit. Now, the thing is, even though I was able to get him back in supply, that does not burn off all his supply markers. Whenever you come back into supply, it burns off 4 of your out of supply markers. So since these 2 guys are in supply because they can trace a road to the eastern map side, though theirs will get cleared completely. This guard's Cossacks will have their 5 reduced to a 1 because you can only reclaim 4 out of supply markers per turn that you're in supply. So there we have supply down and dirty in the nitty-gritty of it, boys and girls. Like I said, make sure you pay attention to your supply rules and your supply lines before you end up putting yourself out where it really doesn't deserve to be. One other thing I did want to mention about supply: any unit that has an out of supply marker on it at the end of the supply phase has to roll for a potential surrender or disbanding. And basically, it's 2d6 minus whatever your current out of supply level is, and if it's a 0 or less, then the unit is eliminated. Since he's only got a 1 supply marker on him, the best, or the lowest I could roll on 2d6 is a 2. Minus 1 is only a 1. It's not a 0 or less, so he's completely fine. No other Soviet units. I actually started making sure and started checking elsewhere throughout the field of battle. That was pretty much the only units that I had out of supply that I couldn't really salvage anyway. So yeah, I had to go back, mess around with figuring out how many out of supply points they had. But it all turned out okay in the end. And thanks for watching, everybody. Please remember, subscribe. I like subscribers. It lets me know that people are actually bothering to listen and watch my videos. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to everybody later. Bye.